It's wild how people can go on the streets and scream anti-Semitic slurs towards Jewish people and do the Hitler salute and stuff, and nobody gets arrested. But the moment you protest in support of innocent Palestinians not being killed by the Israeli government, you end up getting arrested. Why are Nazis given um, better protections on their freedom of speech compared to people protesting in support of innocent Palestinians not dying?
KTV's Joey Horta heard from two people who say they were punished for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But we begin with KTV's Brooks Giroux, who's in San Francisco tonight. And Brooks, a much smoother evening commute for people.
Well, a sharp contrast, Christina, compared to that chaotic morning commute. It actually took police and work crews more than 6 hours to fully clear and then reopen the westbound lanes of the Bay Bridge. And many drivers were trapped in their cars for hours, too. At the height of the morning commute, traffic on the Bay Bridge heading into San Francisco was brought to a standstill.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Pro-Palestine protesters took over every lane just before Treasure Island about 7:40 a.m.
This appears to be a very calculated movement based upon individuals having multiple layers of vehicles stopping and slowing traffic, with individuals getting out of their cars.
Yeah, no doubt. Most protests are actually coordinated in some sense. That's how you get a lot of people gathered together.
In minutes, California Highway Patrol says 250 officers quickly responded.
If you resist arrest, reasonable force will be used.
We were not caught off guard. This was something that we were anticipating happening.
But what they may have not been anticipating is protesters tossing car keys into the bay. While in the city, President Joe Biden was en route to the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit.
Joe Biden is in San Francisco talking with world leaders and putting money into the ongoing genocide, and we need to stand up and stop it now.
Law enforcement was tasked with stopping the traffic tie-ups, making at least 80 arrests.
If protests were about the convenience of other people, nothing would actually get done.
Towing more than 24 cars.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
This is very dangerous. You could have people needing to get to the hospital right now. People are needing to get to work. Emergency vehicles can't respond.
What in the hell am I going to do next?
To avoid more headache.
I can agree with them about blocking first responders from being able to get people to the hospital. That is definitely not something good to happen. You wouldn't want to be the cause of somebody dying because they couldn't get to the hospital. People not being able to go to work and stuff. You're going to kind of have to tough it out a little bit because that's part of protests happening.
Some were smart and opted for public transportation to avoid the Bay Bridge.
I had no alternative but to take the BART so I could get to my destination this morning.
On Treasure Island, protesters' cars were ticketed, towed, and taken to be impounded, as those who organized and participated in the protest were rounded up, cited, and loaded into buses on a one-way trip to San Francisco to be processed.
We are demanding a ceasefire, and I do think we got that message across. We are so sorry to inconvenience folks. It was not the goal.
I mean, in a sense, yes. Protest is about inconveniencing people so that they can be made aware of what's going on. Because, they will eventually know what's going on with the protests and be made aware because of it. It's, some people see it as a bad thing to be inconvenienced by a protest, but in reality, it is a good thing. If people aren't inconvenienced, then nothing will change.